Hi, and welcome back to Word of Faith with Miracle. So, in today's Word of Faith, our message is entitled, Do Not Take Advantage of the Grace of God. You know, the grace of God has always been there for us. The grace of God is always there for us, but that doesn't also mean that we need to take advantage of the grace of God. Because you know that if you sin, God is going to forgive you. That doesn't mean that you need to intentionally sin to ask for the forgiveness of God, because maybe He might not forgive you and you will need to pay for that sin. So the fact that the grace of God is available doesn't mean that we need to take advantage of the grace of God. So today we are going to center our message on Moses. You know, Moses was a man of God. Moses was a man who walked with God. Moses was a man who had the opportunity to talk with God and hear God talk to him instantly. God would come to him in a form of a burning fire. God will come to him anytime he goes to the temple to pray. Every single time that he prayed to God, he heard God speak to him again. But Moses took advantage of the grace of God and he paid for it, because you cannot take advantage of the grace of God. As I said earlier, because the grace of God is available doesn't mean that you need to take advantage of it. So let's go into the Bible and read the book of Numbers chapter 20, the verse number 6, and I'm going to link it up on the screen. Then Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the doorway of the tent of meeting. They fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord spoke to Moses, Take the staff and assemble the community. You and your brother Aaron are to speak to the rock while they watch, and it will yield its water. You will bring out water for them from the rock and provide drink for the community and their livestock. So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence, just as he had commanded him. Moses and Aaron summoned the assembly in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, Listen, you rebels. Must we bring water out of this rock for you? Then Moses raised his hand and struck the rock twice with his staff, so that abundant water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Because you did not trust me to demonstrate my holiness in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this assembly into the land I have given them. Okay, so if you don't take your time to read the Bible, you might think at least Moses struck the staff on the rock and water came out, or at least at the end of it all water came out. But that was not what God wanted to do. God specifically told him that take the staff and assemble the community. You and your brother are to speak to the rock while they watch, and it will yield its water. So Moses was supposed to speak to the rock, not hit the rock with his staff. So there are two different things. Even though at the end the water came out, he was supposed to speak to the rock, not hit the rock with his staff. And here the Bible pointed out about his inability to trust the Lord. But here all I see is he taking advantage of the grace of God. Because if it was his inability to trust the Lord, then he wouldn't even use his staff to hit the rock at the first place, because he doesn't believe that water will come out of the rock. But because he knows that he speaks with God, he has the power, he has the authority, he literally took advantage of the grace to actually hit the rock with his staff instead of speaking to the rock. And obviously he knew that whatever he did, God was not going to punish him, or God was not going to see it as a sin or anything bad, because at the end of it all, it was God who said he should go and take the Israelites from the camp of Pharaoh. And after that, he is obviously following the commandment of God by hitting the rock and taking the people to the promised land and everything like that. So here all I see is Moses taking advantage of the grace of God, because if he did not trust God, I'm not sure he would even want to hit his staff on the stone. So what do we learn from this? That it doesn't matter how close you are with God, it doesn't matter how many times you pray and God answers you. When God says go, you need to go. When God says come, you need to come. And mind you, there is punishment anytime you take advantage of the grace of God. Because Moses took advantage of the grace of God, that is why he was not able to send the people into the promised land. I mean, he took the people from Pharaoh. Look at the hard work, everything that he did. But because he took advantage of the grace of God, God made him pay for that sin. So we need to learn that no matter how close you are with God, no matter who you are, if you pray a million times and God answers you, if you eat with God, if you sleep with God, anything you do, if you take advantage of the grace of God, you are going to pay for it, no matter who you are or no matter the level you are in Christ. So let's always take into consideration that just because there is forgiveness doesn't mean that we need to sin continually, doesn't mean that we need to sin intentionally, doesn't mean that we need to even sin at the first place. Brothers and sisters, friends, let's always learn to not take advantage of the grace of God. What you know you would do to trigger God's punishment or God's anger upon you, stay away from it. Stay far away from it. And let's always make sure that we are not taking advantage of the grace of God, but rather we are using the grace of God for our own good and for a good will. Thank you so much for staying with me and listening to this episode of Word of Faith with Miracle. I'll see you on my next video. Bye. And also, if you have not subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, join the family. We love you.